Hey, Florida, what happened? Why is it cold? This is spring break. It's supposed to be spring break. And unfortunately, some folks may have a cool and chilly morning hanging out at the beach, because this morning it feels probably like 50s and windy. But we are in the Northwest Panhandle representing. And maybe if you're further down south, you got warmer weather, summer-like temps. But a lot of folks are saying, or at least seems like everybody, according to the news that I'm reading, is going to regret coming to Florida with the new laws and changes that they're putting in place in Miami. These parking garages are shutting down. They're charging $100 or more to park. There's a lot happening, folks. There's a lot changing. And I think this is just the beginning. This is only the beginning. And it's not gonna just be isolated to spring break and Florida vacation. No, it's gonna travel up the coast and actually hitting Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach has some new laws that I'm gonna talk to you guys about. And I don't know where this guy came from. Speaking of new, nice new black Escalade. All right, let's start the car and see what it says. 52 degrees outside is what it says. What's the temperature like where you are? Or where are you, in fact, actually? But hey, guys, welcome back. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Like I said, things are changing, and it's very interesting to see it happening. These are clearly signs of what's to come and what's going to happen next. This is, in part, as we discuss the economic crisis, the crash that's coming, the threat that looms around the corner with the housing market, jobs, people's money, their income, their paychecks, their livelihood, as well as a variety of other things. U.S. Air Force's plan to unleash fighters that can't refuse orders and are cheaper than normal jets. I've never known our government to really try and save money. But the non-refusal of orders means big changes, folks. Not to mention what happens with technology, what has been happening with technology. Yep, that's right. Ransomware, cyber attacks, hacks. Do you really think it's wise to have a unmanned Air Force? This one's a big change. This one's a big switch, a big pivot, and it's happening a whole lot faster than I expected. I'm sure I'm not the only one who saw this coming. California City votes to ban all pride non-US flags on city property. A state that, California was one of the states that was really like gung-ho about this inclusivity. But a lot of things are changing. A lot of things that we saw happening in 2023, which we were kind of scratching our heads about, like, why is this being pushed on to so many people? We're seeing it being reversed. We're seeing a quick and swift change here. Speaking of blue states, blue state malls giving paroled inmates big checks on their way out. Like I said, I've never known our government to try and save money. And it's not just the migrants they're trying to give $10,000 or $20,000 to. Apparently, they're trying to give it to ex-convicts and felons. Meanwhile, we see the fallout, the repercussions of social media, and the enraged crowd, fan base, theoretically, seemingly thinking that they're doing something good or doing something in support of, but not so much. Ariana Grande, singer, pleads with fans to stop attacking people in her life after album ignites rage. something to do with her ex-husband. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden apologizes for calling Laken Riley's alleged killer illegal. That one's kind of interesting to me because I feel like migrants are becoming synonymous with illegal. Based on what I'm seeing, based on what I'm hearing, social media, all the outrage, all the attacks, all the crime, all the killings, but it almost seems like we're venturing into a period in time where illegal is synonymous with migrant, illegal is synonymous with immigration or immigrants, and they're not just of the Latino or Hispanic ethnicity, which I think hasn't really been talked about too much, but these migrants are of all nationalities from a variety of different countries. These migrants could look like me. One of the recent shares from Saturday Night Live, which I haven't seen, so I have to watch that tonight. Reactions to Biden's State of the Union speech. I didn't bother watching the State of the Union speech, and I know there's some folks out there who did, and or maybe they didn't, and they were just speculating on how disastrous it was going to be.
A school loan today? I don't know. I don't know. What would you do with $10,000 today? So listen, let's talk about this. I want to know. Since we've got a special day tomorrow with the State of the Union, are you popping your popcorn? Let's all, you know what? We should make a bet. Let's make some bets. How long is it going to happen? Is he going to be able to stand up? For how long? Here's my question to you. I want to know if his eyes are going to be dilated like a doll's eyes. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, is Joey going to be able to pull it off? How many cue cards are we going to see? Is it going to be like the game Memory up there? You remember the game? I loved that game.
I honestly don't really care about what Biden has to say. Scarlett Johansson plays Senator Katie Britt in a satire of her State of the Union rebuttal on SNL. Senator Britt facing backlash for State of the Union response. Anecdote from Senator Katie Britt's criticism of Biden's border policies appears to be from before he was president. Interesting. Who's worse off for this current political campaign, this political election landscape? SNL and Saturday Night Live and their cast and writers, or The Daily Show, Comedy Central, and Jon Stewart? Meanwhile, a sailor becomes the first U.S. woman to race solo around the world, and she cried upon her return, but more importantly, this just proves that the world isn't flat. But again, folks, big changes. Big changes coming. This one popped up on my feed from the Daily Mail. Transgender golfer Haley Davidson is banned from Women's Tour, or from the Women's Tour NXXT, after it changes its policy to only allow biological female players to compete, making this announcement yesterday on National Women's Day. Or is it International Women's Day? I'm not sure which one it is, but it was Women's Day. No, not yesterday. Friday. Friday was Women's Day, right? Again, a lot of shit that was pushed on us in 2023 is now being reversed. It's now being changed. Even car and automotive manufacturers are pulling back on their EV production. I think we're about to see a massive shift here, folks. Potentially in a better direction. Potentially. Because this stuff right here, no, hard pass. And I was also thinking about it from the standpoint of, I don't know if any of you guys seen the movie Air, but there's a part of that movie where they knew that breaking the rules would incur a fine. But they also knew that the benefit of breaking these rules would produce profits that would far exceed. They would make way more money than the fine would ever cost. So they said, well, how much is the fine? We'll just pay the fine. Which has kind of got me thinking about these electric cars and trucks, how expensive they are. But what if these manufacturers like Stellantis and Ford and GM, they all said, you know what? Our requests are falling on deaf ears. The Biden administration is not listening to us. This is going to destroy our business. It will put us in ruin. We will face possible bankruptcy. We will have to be bailed out yet again. And nobody wants to buy these things. Nobody wants electric cars from Ford. Nobody wants an electric Super Duty, okay? They don't want it. They don't even want an electric Ford Explorer, okay? But what if they said, well, we'll just keep making gas-powered cars and we'll pay the fine? It would probably be less expensive than it would be to make these electric vehicles that they literally have to try and give away because nobody wants a Ford Mustang Mach-E. But honestly, if the Ford Mustang Mach-E was gas-powered, I still don't think people would want it. There's a lot in a name, folks. On another note, we didn't quite make the cover of VIP Destin, but you will see yours truly, and of course, my better half, or my better three quarters. We did make Best in Destin, or not Best in Destin, next to Best in Destin, for the grand reopening at the Henderson Resort rooftop bar. So that was pretty cool. Thank you guys for the invite. We really do appreciate it. Well, he's got to bring two.
No, that's loud. Oh, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. Thank you. Now you have to ring.
I was gonna say, get all the pictures. Is there any like?
All right, run down real quick. Where we at? What's going on?
Henderson Rooftop. It is a fancy reopening event for
Immediate differences. What do you see?
I don't know. Immediate differences.
It's my birthday
this
party.
Is amazing. This is amazing, though. So it used to be that the bar was right here, and it's literally just this small little section with maybe 10 seats around it. So they've gotten rid of the bar over here, added new seating. But this here, the whole seating area is definitely going to be nice. T, we can take videos and pictures and do all kinds of stuff, right? Influence. Okay, cool. Making sure.
What you got?
I gotta put this whole thing in my mouth because it's very hard to bite in half. Hey. Try to bite this in half and not mess it up. That's really good.
Mambo.
Mambo?
Mambo 5. I don't know why they called it that.
I love champagne. Way more tables.
We got the heaters on.
And we finally get fire pits because they had fire pit tables, but no
Propane.
propane getting up to the roof, and now you've got it, so that's nice.
I mean, the bar seating is definitely increased, maximized,
This is
better use of space.
I really like these tables too.
Got the shrimp feast going. Oh, this is a nice table.
Well, see, that one doesn't go with anything, but I like it.
That's why it fits.
I like how
That's why it
eclectic.
belongs.
It's eclectic. It's not all exactly the same, which is lovely. I like how there's different tables, different chairs, different heights. Because you have high, mid, low. Really nice. At the bar, they have.
But like I said, folks, some people, everybody regrets coming to Florida, or at least that's kind of what they want you to believe. That's what the news and the headlines are telling folks right now. So you're thinking, okay, well, I'll pull a page out of Jerry Pincus' book and we'll ditch Florida and we'll leave and we'll go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Well, that may not be the best idea, folks, especially if you want to have your butt cheeks hanging out, because no ifs or buts. Law says don't let it all hang out during spring break in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Thongs are illegal in Myrtle Beach, okay? This is a family-friendly beach town, folks, okay? But this isn't about big BBLs hanging out with string bikinis up the crack of their ass. No, this is just about the change. This is about what I'm talking about, folks, and how we are going to see a shift. We are at the precipice of a reset of sorts, quite possibly back to some more conservative values for this country, maybe. So it says that the Grand Strand is readying for a number of visitors who make the annual trek to its miles of sandy beaches for spring break. Typically, more families spend spring break in Myrtle Beach than college students, so the area can expect to see an influx of kids and parents in the weeks toward the end of March and beginning of April. Because many areas, including Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, and unincorporated Horry County, have put an emphasis on family, there are several laws in place to protect the beach and the visitors who come here. Here are some laws to know when visiting one of the many beaches in the Myrtle Beach area. These laws are year-round. Leave your beer bottles at the hotel, as neither glass nor alcohol are allowed at any beaches. A nap in the sun is okay, but spending the night on the beach isn't. It's illegal to sleep on the beach between 9 p.m. and 8 a.m. Myrtle Beach specifically prohibits thong bathing suits in public areas. It's safe to assume thong bathing suits also will not be allowed in North Myrtle Beach and Horry County, as they both prohibit a person from showing their buttocks. Anything left on the beach from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. is considered abandoned and may be thrown away. Something to consider if you're planning to save that perfect spot for the next day. And I was thrown for a loop today because I forgot the time change. So I wake up and it's an hour later, but it's an hour early. I don't really know what time it is. When it comes to avoiding the sun, only an umbrella is allowed, and it has to be lined up or behind the lifeguards' umbrellas. Tents and other structures that impede a lifeguard's view of the water are prohibited. The only shading devices allowed are small ones for infants and children. Myrtle Beach does allow shading devices of up to 12 feet by 12 feet during the off season, which is Labor Day to Memorial Day. There is no aquatic activity allowed within 75 yards of a pier. On a beach, you cannot swim out farther than 50 yards or enter water deeper than your chest. It's also illegal to jump off the pier into the water. In majority of coastal areas of Horry County, pets must be on a leash that is a maximum of 7 feet long. Owners are also legally required to pick up after their pets. During the off-season, pets are allowed on the beach all day, but there are different regulations from May to September. If you or your child wants to dig a hole in the sand, make sure it's less than 2 feet deep and that you fill it in when you're done. This will prevent people from falling in and hurting themselves. Metal shovels are also not allowed for recreational digging in Myrtle Beach. When fishing on the beach, swimmers take priority. Fishers on the beach must stay at least 50 feet away from swimmers. It is illegal to fish for sharks. That's actually a pretty funny one, because here people fish for sharks off the coast of the beach in Navarre. I'm pretty sure it's Navarre. We've had a few great whites caught here recently. Rules to follow during the on season, as in Myrtle Beach and unincorporated Horry County. Dogs are not allowed on the beach between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. from May 1 through Labor Day. In North Myrtle Beach, beginning May 15 and lasting until Labor Day, dogs are not allowed on the beach from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Starting May 1 and lasting until Labor Day, bicycles and dogs are only allowed on the Myrtle Beach boardwalk from 5 to 10 a.m. and bicycles are banned on most beaches from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. starting Memorial Day until Labor Day. So folks, if you're thinking about evacuating Florida and heading to Myrtle Beach as a alternative to Miami's high prices and new rules and laws, you might want to think again. But also, I think that these changes, these laws, this enforcement, this pivot to fun, safe, family-oriented, family-friendly, respectable lifestyle, minus all the noise, minus all the nonsense, minus all the garbage that we've been force-fed. Didn't Trump just win South Carolina? Trump won South Carolina, nearly 60% of the votes. Yeah, I think we're beginning to see a changing of the guard, folks, and we haven't even gotten close to November yet. And this is, I think, is deserved. It's a long time coming, and I think that we need this to happen in order for us to have any shot any chance at survival here. Another 4 years of this mess that we've been in may be our last. So I'm welcoming the change. I'm excited for it. I never accepted what they force fed us before, but I'm definitely looking forward to a point in time when we don't have to boycott Bud Light or potentially boycott Doritos or, you know, all these other companies and businesses that were trying to force society to tuck it in and make everybody wave this rainbow flag. Look, you do you, okay? But don't make me try to do things that I don't want to do and things that I don't agree with and things that are of zero interest to me, okay? Don't make everything about your thing, okay? Everything was perfectly fine the way it was before. There was no sense, there's no need to change this. And as we see this elimination of DEI in the corporate world, we haven't seen, that's the thing, in the corporate world, we haven't seen this in the government space, as they're continuously trying to fill positions based on DEI rather than qualifications and ability and merit. I mean, do you really want to pilot in the cockpit of your next flight, which quite possibly is probably going to be a Boeing jet that's going to have some form of malfunction to it? Most recently, there was a jet with pets on it or animals on it, and the cargo door was wide open. Do you really want these folks out there who aren't capable, who aren't qualified, who aren't trained because they check a box for DEI? I don't. Somebody commented on my video yesterday, we got to protect our daughters. I'm pretty sure, I think it said we got to protect our daughters, but folks, we got to protect everybody. We got to protect ourselves, and we got to protect them from themselves, because they are in essence self-sabotaging and self-destructing. And if we allow that to continue on, then, you know, we will be included in that. And, you know, Lord only knows how bad that would be. But I think we are on track to potentially see some form of reasonable and much needed and welcome change. November cannot get here fast enough. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.